Hey folks, Pat that Halloween movie collector back with another top 10 albums from the 1980s. This time around we're doing 1987, which arguably was a tough one for me to pick. I knew the albums I wanted, but it was real tough to put them in certain orders. I mean, number 1 and 2 were, well, you'll see why they're there. But the rest of them were pretty difficult to line up, and there was a few that I put on honorable mentions that I really wanted to put in the top 10. But that's what a top 10 is. It's only 10. So let's get started because I'm excited to talk about these. But in the meantime, here is my honorable mentions. Okay, I know. Probably saw a couple of those honorable mentions that you think should be in the top 10, but hey, like I said, this is all subjective. It's particularly just my taste. That's why I tell everybody, encourage everybody, put your list in the bottom and in the comments below. Let me see what your list looks like. That's all. I enjoy reading other people's lists and getting their input on what they like. It's all subjective. This is not the be-all say-all. So, but here we go. Looking forward to doing this. Let's do it. Okay, my number 10, released on October 27th of 1987. Dokken, Back for the Attack. This album, so many great memories of this album. I had just really started to get into playing guitar, just started taking guitar lessons in 87. So a lot of the albums that are on here were like a Bible for me to try to learn songs, you know. And back then, you didn't have the internet, so you couldn't just, guitar tabs for anything. You had to either go out and buy like the Hal Leonard books, which were really expensive, or, just start training your ear to listen to stuff, which I was pretty good at. Great guitar teacher that I had taught me some good stuff like that. So I was able to figure out a lot of the songs, but there were some good books that came out, and that's how I got into like really playing like Dokken. And I remember vividly trying to learn how to play Burning Like a Flame because I just loved that song. I love the video. There's been some other great songs on here. I mean, Mr. Scary. I mean, I remember sitting there trying to play Mr. Scary. To this day, I can still only play parts of it. It's a pitch of a song to play. What a guitar solo. I mean, George Lynch is just incredible, and he still is to this day. You have Dream Warriors on there, right fresh off of the success of Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, Part 3. Other great songs like Kiss of Death, opens up with Kiss of Death. Heaven Sent was good, too. One of my favorite, I think Tooth and Nail is probably my favorite, but this album is real close and very nostalgic for me because 86, 87 is when I was a freshman in high school. Like I said, and got a lot of fond memories of the albums on this list, especially because it was like right at the beginning of when I really started getting into guitar. But yeah, my number 10, love it, Dokken, Back for the Attack. My number 9, released on June 17th of 1987, Great White, Once Bitten. I really got into Great White because of seeing Judas Priest. First concert I saw was Defenders of the Faith tour at Madison Square Garden. I didn't even know who Great White was, and they opened up for him back in '84, and I loved them. And they were right off the first album, the first Great White album, which is really, really good. It's got some great stuff on it. And Once Bitten came out, and this really put them on the map, basically because of Rock Me. Rock Me was such a great song. The one I had to learn how to play guitar. Played it in our talent show at my high school that year. We played Rock Me because we were such big fans of it. Big fans of this album. Love Jack Russell. Rest in peace. We just lost him not that long ago. I mean, I know Great White kind of got really put down and really besmirched a lot because of what happened at that Station nightclub. And I don't want to go into that, but everybody knows about it. And it was just a terrible, terrible tragedy. So you really didn't hear too much about Great White after that. I'd seen them several times, though. I didn't just see them open up for Priest. I saw them a few times, and they were always great live. Jack Russell was always great singer, great songs on here. like obviously Rock Me, Lady Red Light, Save Your Love, some real classic Great White stuff on here, and it's just another one very nostalgic, and just love this album. My number 8, released on April 27th, 1987, the debut of Frehley's Comet. Ace Frehley's Comet album came out that year, and I saw this tour that year too. I couldn't wait to go see. They opened up for Iron Maiden, saw them twice on the Iron Maiden tour. Great songs on here. Rock Soldiers was the big one. Into the Night was even bigger. You started to see him on MTV with the videos. Breakout was a great on here. I love Fractured too, where he picked up where he left off from his 78 solo album, and sort of made it like a whole theme where he did several of those Fractured instrumentals. And he had some great songs on here. John Regan was great. He had Anton Fig on here, and Todd Howard had a great voice too. So it was great having the dual singers on the band too. But really, a lot of great songs on this. I do go back to this album a lot, and he plays a decent amount from it when you see him live. It's been a minute since I've seen him live. I've seen him several times, but great album, great debut album, and I wish they would have just kept it as Frehley's Comet. I understand Ace Frehley was the bigger name, but it was kind of cool just to have that Frehley's Comet name, and love to see him get a reunion of that first band together, because they were really good. I mean, he's got some great touring bands over the years. I can't complain, but it'd be great just to see the nostalgia for that. Maybe I guess figure in 2 years, when it hits a milestone, get that classic lineup together, and go out and do a couple of shows. That'd be a lot of fun. And number 7, released on May 20th, 1987, Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. Another album here that shot them into the stratosphere. I mean, they were. I mean, well, Theater of Pain was a little mixed bag for me. Shout at the Devil, amazing. I still love it. I think my favorite still is their first album. But Girls, Girls, Girls had some great stuff, especially this was the prime MTV era, and they were all over the place with videos like, Wild Side and Girls, Girls, Girls. I mean, Wild Side video where you had Tommy Lee in the drum kit that spun around. I mean, people were going apeshit for that stuff, and they just became huge after this album. It's got some great songs in there, like All in the Name of, Dancing on Glass, aside from, obviously, the two big hits, of Girls, Girls, Girls and Wild Side. And like I've mentioned before, because I grew up in northern New Jersey, this was another album I remember vividly winning on the Wildwood Jersey Shore Boardwalk, where I got a lot of my albums from the 80s. So yeah, still a great album. Very underrated guitar player. I always liked Mick Marsound, and I always thought he was very underrated as a guitar player. But love this album, Girls, Girls, Girls. My number 6, released on September 18th, 1987. You knew it would appear on this list. I kind of stuck it in the middle. I didn't want to put it too high, and I didn't want to put it too low, because it is nostalgia. It's my favorite band, Kiss Crazy Nights. You knew it was going to be on here. Love it or hate this album. It's their polished album. It's their synthy album. It's more in the position on this list for nostalgia, because this was one of the first CDs I ever bought, because I remember getting my Sony rack system that year because I was saving up money to finally buy a real good stereo system. CDs had just become popular. They just was still in this infancy. So I remember getting my Sony rack system from Macy's and buying CDs. I remember the first 3 I got were Crazy Nights, Rock and Roll Over, and Hotter Than Hell. Those are the first 3 CDs I ever bought. So it's very nostalgic for me. It's got a lot of stuff in here. My biggest problem with this, it is very synthy. I don't like the mix. It's very trebly, very tinny. It's very polished. It's very 80s. They were chasing the dragon. Like the success like Bon Jovi had, instead of just being themselves. Which, truth be told, this would Kiss did a lot through their career. Chase the dragon to stay with the trends and stay on top. But I always liked the song Crazy Nights. No, the song is okay, but the intro is incredible. Bruce Kulick, what a great guitar player. That intro is just amazing. You got Turn On the Night here. Then you got the ballad, Reason to Live. I remember I saw this tour, and truth be told, it was kind of a snooze fest. It was too much synthy stuff going on. They weren't bad, but it definitely wasn't one of my favorite tours of seeing them. believe it or not, I actually like this album better than what'll appear eventually, which is Hot in the Shade. But that tour was great. They were good live on that tour. But Crazy Nights, stuck it here, sort of in the middle. What am I going to do? It's not bad. Number 5, released on October 15th of 87. And I've said things that changed my life before. This changed my life. I was obsessed with this guy and this album. Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien. When I saw him play Satch Boogie on MTV, my jaw dropped. It was like I had mentioned before. It was like the Hot for a Teacher moment when I said, I have to learn how to fucking do that. Holy shit. And to this day, I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck he does that shit. I became I still am, big Joe Satriani junkie. I remember waiting online hours at Sam Goody to get his autograph when he came out with Flying in a Blue Dream. And I've seen him several times on tour. And he's always been great. It's been years since I've seen him. I got to get back and check him out. But this album, same thing. I had to learn how to play Satch Boogie. I remember buying the Hal Leonard book and try to figure out how to play Surfing with the Alien, Circles, Always With Me, Always With You, just some crazy Ice Nine, amazing guitar playing. It took guitar playing to a completely different level. And why he has not come up once on a fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ballot. I'm like, are you serious? This guy changed the game, for fuck's sake. I mean, at least they sobered up and put Randy Rhoads in there. When the fuck are you going to put him in there? Freaking, he changed the guitar, the way you played guitar. I mean, he popularized guitar-themed albums. Nobody was really... I mean, they were putting them out. You had, like, Cacophony, and you had the Shrapnel Records stuff. But this was a game changer. This was on MTV, and people fucking ate this shit up like myself. So, that's my rant. Sorry. Hopefully one of these days, at least musical excellence or influence, he should be in there for that easily. But yeah, love this album, love everything he did after this, and you'll see some more Satriani appearing on these lists going forward. But yeah, this album, unbelievable. My number 4, released on April 6, 1987, The Cult, Electric. When I first heard The Cult, I got hooked. I mean, I heard them with their other album, Love, which I like Love, it's not so bad, but Electric made me a Cult fanatic. Love this album. There's so much great stuff in here. I love the sound that they got. I love Ian Astbury's voice. This album just blew me away. Just totally blew me away. Songs like Peace Dog, King Contrary Man, Love Removal Machine. Just every song on here just so killer. And to this day, I still love this album. What a great singer. You'll see some more Cult that's going to appear on this list too, especially when you get Sonic Temple coming up. But yeah, just some great songs on here, classic songs, great sound, great singers, and just love the Electric. My number 3, released on April 7th, 1987, Whitesnake. Whitesnake, or I think in Europe that was called 1987 because it was just self-titled. This album exploded. Another one here where I just was obsessed with learning how to play these songs. From Still of the Night, Crying in the Rain, Here I Go Again, Bad Boys. What great, I mean, and this was almost like a Ozzy's Diary of a Madman situation where the people that recorded everything on there were not the people that you saw, because most of this was written by David Coverdale and John Sykes, and John Sykes played all that guitar. Amazing guitar, and we just lost John Sykes too, just recently, which sucks. What a great singer and great guitar player, amazing guitar player. So then when I saw them on tour, for this tour, I did see them. And there's Vivian Campbell, which was great. And there was Adrian Vandenberg. And you also had Ainsley Dunbar was on drums for the album. Who was Tommy Aldridge. And I'm talking about Diary of a Madman, and he did that tour. So that's what you got live, which was fine. There was no complaints about that, but it's not what you got on the album. But the album, just amazing. Oh, God, just trying to get that sound that he had in the Still of the Night. And then you got the bow playing through the whole solo part, or the breakdown rather than right before the solo. But this album just exploded. They were huge because of this album, and it was everywhere, and I wore the shit out of it. So I had to put it high up on this list because it's just amazing shit. If everybody remembers that time in '87, how big this album was. Good stuff, though. Number 2, released on July 21st, 1987. You knew it was going to be on this list, and it was going to be high up, and it was tough leaving that out of the top spot. Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses. I remember watching Headbangers Ball, and I always kept seeing the Welcome to the Jungle video for the longest time, for a couple months, because this album just didn't come out of the gate and explode. It took a little bit of time. I remember I kept seeing that, like, who's this? I liked the song, and I'm like, this guy's freaking whacked. Because you saw Axl Rose for the first time. But I liked it, and then it just absolutely exploded. And everybody knows this album. I mean, Guns N' Roses is one of the biggest bands in the world. And I didn't get to see them back then, but I did see them on, well, their current constant reunion tour. I saw them at Giant Stadium years ago with Lenny Kravitz, which was amazing. Great show. But, you know, every song on this album, every song on this album is probably pretty much on classic rock radio on a daily basis. Between Welcome to the Jungle and Sweet Child of Mine, Mr. Brownstone, Maya Michelle, Paradise City, You're Crazy. Every song is probably you're going to hear on classic rock radio if you listen to it on a daily basis. At least 4 of them a day, if not all of them. But no complaints here. I mean, you can't fault it for being popular. Some people, you know, I guess a little tired of hearing the songs, but you can't deny it. And the same thing here. This was... I remember we did like a talent show in my high school, and I remember we were playing Sweet Child of Mine. We did Mr. Brownstone. We did Welcome to the Jungle. It was huge. It was just huge, huge, huge. I didn't get to see them. I missed the show when they came around. I forget the hell, there was a reason why, but I was pissed I couldn't go. That's why I didn't get to see them until they reunited several years ago. I don't know what to say about this album except every song is a hit. Every song is great, and everybody knows every song on this. And there you go. And my number 1, topped several of these lists before, released on March 19th of 1987, Ozzy Osbourne, Tribute. This album was another game changer for me, and an album I wore the living shit out of. And I remember saving my money up to buy this album, this songbook to learn these songs, and I just remember locking away another song, Crazy Train. We did it on my friends and I played it in the talent show one year, and we had to do the live version from this, because the live versions of this, because it was, you know, they would tribute, because you figure this was 87, so Randy died in 82, so 5 years later this came out, and this recording is just, I mean, I listened to this more than I listened to the first 2 albums, because just listening to it live is so much better. Listening to I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Revelation Mother Earth, No Bone Movies, Steal Away the Night. I mean, just everything is just amazing on this album. And of course, you know, you got to have some Sabbath in there. You got Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and what's the other one? Of course, Paranoid. But this album, same thing. To this day, I just put it on and just sit there with my guitar trying to play along with it. And it's just amazing. Great version of Flying High Again on there, too. This, I knew as soon as we were doing 87, I'm like, it's got to be. I remember having the poster on my wall. I still have the songbook somewhere. I know I do somewhere. And this album, like I said, game changer. Big Randy Rhoads fan. First 2 albums topped 2 of my years. 80 and was it 81 and 82? Yeah, they topped. And like I said, it was tough. These were 2 were tough. Because most people are like, I should have put Guns N' Roses at the top. And I get that. Believe me, I get it. It was tough. But man, I'm a big Tribute fan. Love that album and still listen to it all the time. I mean, just all those live versions of those classics. And D at the end, where you're listening to him work out D, makes a little mistake. And he goes, oops, which is unbelievable. It's just awesome. So, yeah, there you go. That's my number 1. And still one of my favorite albums to this day. Ozzy Osbourne, Tribute. There you have it. Those are my 10 favorite albums. My 10 favorite albums from 1987. Do me a favor, drop your 10 favorite albums in the bottom in the comments. Love to hear it. Love to hear. Let me know if there's any ones I may have missed with in my honorable mentions, because from time to time I do. Because I do some research. I look at my CDs, and they tend to miss 1 or 2. And I'm like, oh shit, I should have put that in there. I completely forgot that came out that year. Because sometimes it's not listed. And I can't remember every single album because I want to make sure that I'm as thorough as I possibly could be. So I'll be doing 88 sooner than later. Do me a favor, though. Help people find the channel. Hit that like button. Helps people find it and bring some more people in. And we'll have some more fun with these top 10 lists. Because once I go through all the decades, maybe I'll figure out some other fun shit to do. Any suggestions, throw them in the comments below. And if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button and all the notifications, or you're not going to know about a new video. So thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, make sure you throw your list in the bottom here. I want to go check it out. And I'll be back shortly with 1988. And until then, I'll talk to you soon.